What's going on, guys? Just Childish here, and welcome to Tekken 8. It's not a full game, of course, but we're just trying to see the breakdown from Harada's standpoint and let him explain the breakdown of the video of the Tekken 8 trailer that came out yesterday at the Game Awards. If you did not see it, I will put a link in the description below. But today, we're just going to see the breakdown and see what the new mechanics and see what's going on. And if you guys do enjoy, please hit that thumbs up. If you guys do enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you guys are new. And let's get right into it.
Full breakdown of the new trailer. Harada-san, Michael, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's dive right into the trailer about how he lost his fight, presumably, with Kazuya. A gloved hand appears from what looks like black smoke and reaches out to him. We know black smoke has historically been used to signify characters with the devil gene, and the gloves resemble Jin's and Kazuya's. Can you talk about what's happening here and where we are in the story?
But yeah, they've been talking about Jin Kazama and Jin Kazama. Jin Kazama is the mother of Jin Kazama, just for anyone that gets confused, because they've been saying that shit a lot this whole entire video. They will say Jin Kazama, and people will be like, oh, is he talking about Jin Kazama? No, he's talking about the mother of Jin Kazama. And we'll be also talking about Kazuya, the father of Jin Kazama.
That in the trailer, you can see Jin Kazama actually appears later on in the trailer, right? So we have Jin Kazama, Kazuya. So Jun is Jin's mother, and Kazuya the father. So you know, the three of them are family, and the different kind of destiny that they're all intertwined in is something that's really important to the story overall. And I think when you have a chance to play the game and you play through the story portion of it, you'll get more insight into the dynamics of that. But for this part, we just really wanted to make it really stand out about showing off some of those story-based elements, especially with the three of the main members of the.
So it being the trio of Jin Kazama and Kazuya and Heihachi is going to be instead being the trio of Jin Kazama, and Kazuya. Because if you guys don't remember, of Tekken 7 at the end, spoilers, but Kazuya Mishima did kill Heihachi at the end of the game. So that is the end of the bloodline of the Mishima. Instead, we're going back to the Kazama family bloodline. And I can't wait to see how that's going to happen.
This iconic family.
At 9 seconds, we see Jin Kazama, Jin's mom, who hasn't been in a Tekken game since Tekken Tag 2 and hasn't had a canon appearance since Tekken 2. Can you talk about Jin's importance to Jin and Kazuya's story?
As you said, Jin Kazama, you know, this has been quite some time since she appeared in this.
A long time. Tekken Tag Team 2 was a
being
great game for her to be announced in, and I loved her being unknown.
Like you said, Tekken 2, which was
She was a great secret boss. That was awesome.
Obviously,
Great arena,
the
great
sound plays a very
soundtrack.
important role,
I highly recommend you guys play that.
Both to, you know, Kazuya and Jin, and I think some of that will be portrayed when you actually hands-on with the game. But really, I think she's more centrally important to Kazama, Jin Kazama. For people who are familiar with the character, you know that he's got this devil gene power, and he's kind of typically wavering between you know, his human side and that kind of devil influence side throughout the storyline of Tekken. So Jun's kind of like his guide on the path that he's on, and people who are familiar with the series and her and you know, Kazuya know that she has this special power with her that she can actually kind of neutralize the devil gene in some of its effects. So how that plays out in the story is something that players can look forward to, I think.
So will Jin be able to use the lower male version of what Jun has in Tekken Tag Team 2, the one when she turns into Unknown? Would he be able to do that same thing? But it seems like she's not in control when she does that transformation. So I'm not sure how that's gonna play out in this one. I really want to see what they're talking about, because he says it like. He said it like she can suppress it, but it didn't look like she was suppressing it. It looked like it was taking over her. So we have to see that.
23 seconds, Kazuya appears in his devil form and starts attacking a city in some story mode footage. Can you talk about where Kazuya is in this story after finally
it's New York, of course. New York.
Defeating Heihachi in Tekken 7 and what his plans are?
Even I've never been in New York. You can tell that's New York. Come on now.
The trailer and the setting for Tekken 8 take place roughly 6 months after the ending of Tekken 7. So that's
wow, 6 months. Okay.
When you see this, And so you can see that Kazuya Mishima is in charge of the G Corporation.
Of course,
and
of course.
So he's kind of used that as a vehicle to gain control, basically of the whole globe, right?
So is this confirmed that he beat Akuma at the end? Is this confirmed? This is pretty much confirming that he beat Akuma. I mean, that could be like his own little story right there, but if the Akuma thing is canon, which it most likely will be because he was in the story the entire time, but if he beat Akuma, is he that powerful to be Akuma? Really? Come on now. Come on.
This is partly due to, he was in a rivalry with Heihachi Mishima, who controlled the Mishima Zaibatsu.
I really wonder if they're going to bring that up. If they're going to bring up that he beat Akuma.
In Tekken 7, he had complete control over the world, and so you see him going around and destroying in the trailer. And if you recall Tekken 7, he has these extraordinary powers from the Devil Gene grants him. So he can shoot lasers. He even shot down a satellite, in the previous game. So this is the kind of destructive power we're talking about. And it's kind of unhampered now that he doesn't have Heihachi to stop him.
Okay, at the 25-second mark, we get gameplay footage of Lars, Paul Phoenix, Martial Law, Jack 8, and King. Everyone's sporting a new look, especially Paul, who has moved away from his signature hairdo, and Martial Law is using nunchucks in some of his attacks. Could you tell us about their redesigns and new models that have been built for Tekken 8?
So the characters that you mentioned, obviously, all of them returning from past installments. But that said, they've been completely built from the ground up. The whole models, everything, the rigging, the skinning, their costume design, everything about them was made from scratch for this time. We really wanted
new engine, you gotta start everything from scratch. That's like the big thing about having a new engine. You have to try out every little detail you can. You can try out everything you want, and if you're gonna do that, you might as well start every new character from scratch.
For the whole game, right? But more so, if you change it to make it look new, you have to be careful that you don't change it so much that people don't recognize their fan favorites. So we had to really take a hard look at each character and think, what makes them this iconic image to everyone. And to
of course, King will be the tiger mask.
Will
Armor King be in this one? I hope so.
Really important for us.
Let me know who y'all favorite characters is going to be in this game. Hopefully we can see every last one of our favorite characters. I know it's going to be a stretch to see everyone's, but hopefully we get to see at least a couple,
An appearance.
I already got a couple of mine. I already got Jin, I got Kazuya. There's not much else I really want. Everyone else it could be there. Harang, of course. Lars is there.
12, perhaps. We'll have a hair down version of Paul. That said, we know that there are a lot of people who love the skyscraper hairstyle of the original Paul costume. So you can actually equip that in the customization.
Yeah, of course.
Jumping
Customization
ahead
is
to
confirmed.
30 seconds, we see some stage destruction after King hits Jack 8 into a wall. Can you tell us about the improvements that have been made to the stages and
this is something I wanted to hear.
Tekken 8, including any visual updates?
So regarding the stages, a lot of attention.
Wow, are you serious?
No legendaries.
That one looks pretty legendary. Nice.
Why can't I skip it? Bro, it's only this ad that I can't skip. Am I the only one that didn't realize that? It's only the Team Liquid ad I can never skip.
To the detail was put into it from various aspects. For example, there's the functionality of the stage itself. Tekken is a 3D fighter, so this is really important that the camera, goes 360 degrees, not just for cinematics, but while you're actually playing the game in various situations, right? And so you have
this map
balconies
is beautiful,
or walls or various objects that you can destroy within the stage, which opens it up. It changes the size and shape, but what this means is it changes the strategy of the game, right? So depending on which character you're using, it could be that they're well suited to one particular stage or maybe not. So this kind of strategic element is important to the game. And so the first thing we focus on was making these stages fun for the gameplay and how it affects the strategy, right? But also, not just that, even if it's not important to the functionality, just the graphics of one area breaking and opening up.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. So you already got the graphics down. All you need to do is the fundamental with the strategy on how you want to use it, how you want to use the map of different characters. Everything he's playing so far is exactly how I was imagining. So I'm glad to hear
You
it.
can see them move in real time because of the physics. Also, the stages themselves, you know, you might have different variations where it's nighttime or it's during the day.
Yep.
And that kind of lighting completely changes the look and feel.
It's
of the stage.
a little blurry
So
here. I
all
wish
this
they
really
would change
comes
the
together
picture. It's
to make the
it's
stages
very
really
blurry
immersive
actually. You can tell
experience.
from looking at King.
You know,
It's very
both
blurry.
from the gameplay elements that I mentioned, but also from, you know, a spectator or just as a player enjoying it. So those are some of the things that went into the stage when we developed. So this really is unique, though, the stages about Tekken, because there's no other really current title that.
Bro,
has
Law
this,
is
you know,
just,
free roaming
he's
through
literally
the
a
game.
reimagining of Bruce Lee now. Before, of course, he was a reimagining. He was just a replica of Bruce Lee, but this, hold on, let me go back. Let me just, like, look at him. This is literally a whole picture of Bruce Lee. If I'll pull up the picture later, it will probably pop up the screen now, but this is literally the exact same pose that Bruce Lee makes. It's amazing how good this looks. Oh my gosh.
Current title that has this, you know, free roaming through, well, not free roaming, but the camera can go in 3D, 360 degrees, right, at any time, depending on the player's inputs. You don't see that in any other games. And what this means is it's so much more intensive and even costly to make these kind of stages, because you have to pay attention to every detail on the stage, because you never know where the camera is going to be, right? So everything has to be perfect, all of the cinematics and everything. So, you know, I kind of joked to myself that if I knew it was going to turn into this maybe 30 years ago, I shouldn't have done 3D stages, because everyone else is doing 2D, and they don't have to worry about the stuff the camera can't see. So I'm kind of jealous in some regards.
So here at 34 seconds, we see Lars is rooting for Jin. Can you tell us about Lars' place in Tekken 8's story? We also see him fighting Jack 8 and showing off the new heat system. Tekken 8's core
heat
concept
system.
is
Okay, that's new.
aggressive. Could you talk about what influenced that concept and what that means for Tekken 8's gameplay, how the heat system plays into that?
So first, there's, like you said, Lars appears in the trailer rooting for Jin. You can kind of see their relationship throughout the series, but this time you can do it Jin Kazama, he's saying. So I think it kind of gives people watching the trailer a good idea of the kind of dynamic there with those two, that he's supporting Jin.
Lars has always been supportive of Jin.
And then
Oh,
regarding the heat
big
system,
big fact that not a lot of people notice, but Lars is an uncle to Jin. Lars is a brother to Kazuya. I don't think a lot of people knew that. They're just doing this for the so this is for the aggressive players. Then what about the defensive players? How are they going to react to this? How is this going to be fair for both players? It's going to be good for watching and spectating and seeing the fight go down, and rewarding the aggressive players is cool. But what about the defensive players that has to defend against this? How is this fun for them? How is this gonna help them? I need to know that.
This is the first time we're showing it off, and we hope to talk about it more in the future. So
yeah, I need to see more about the heat system. It's cool to see it in game, to see a little bit more. Like here,
Jin and Kazuya are destined to fight each other, and their conflict mirrors Heihachi. Jumping ahead to 41
so like
seconds.
he blocked it here. So, but he still had the ability to keep rushing in and pushing him to make sure he's still plus. That's what I'm guessing this is. So he's making himself more plus than he needs to be to make sure he keeps on the pressure, which is a cool thing.
Jin and Kazuya are destined to fight each other, and their conflict mirrors Heihachi and Kazuya's. What makes this fight, Jin versus Kazuya, different from that one? And where is Jin coming into in Tekken 8's story?
So in previous, I believe Tekken 7 is what you're referencing, the battle between Kazuya and Heihachi. The dynamics were, you have Heihachi is a human. He doesn't possess the devil gene, right? Against Kazuya, who has the devil gene, who is, you know, a devil pretty much. And so the battle between them was kind of a different dynamic. In Kazuya, obviously he wins in the end. Spoiler alert for people who haven't played Tekken 7. So that dynamic is slightly different, because now you have Jin Kazama, who actually also possesses this devil gene and gives him similar powers to Kazuya. But it's quite different in the matter that Kazuya, you know, from a martial artist perspective, you know, fighter, and being able to control the devil gene and go freely back and forth between human and devil powers, he's much more of a developed and polished entity or person, I guess you could say, where Jin he's younger, you know, and he's still he has his things that he's trying to battle with and within himself and to figure out, and so he's not mastered himself or the devil gene. and its powers.
So, like I was thinking about before, this is just his own way of trying to master the devil gene inside of him. This is his way of breaking it and using the devil gene inside of him to fight against Kazuya. Because Kazuya has been using this ability since he got thrown off the damn cliff from his own father. So you already know he's been mastering this thing, and he even awakened it twice already. He awakened it here, and he awakened it in Devil's Tekken 7. So seeing it now that he awakened it twice, we can guess that Jin is probably gonna awaken it 3 times. The first time was the form that you seen earlier when he was bashing his head in, or the Devil Jin, how you regularly see Devil Jin was the first awakening. The second awakening will probably be the cooler version, like the full devil, and the third one will probably be Jun's way of teaching Jin how to control the devil gene, or suppressing the devil gene is what I think they're going for, is suppressing it and using it for a different way. I don't know how they're gonna do that, because like I said, I don't think Jun was actually suppressing it. I think she was taken over, but I could very much be wrong. I don't really mind it either way. I still want to see it no matter what, so it's good.
So the way that plays out is quite different than the battle between Heihachi and Kazuya. But not just that, you have the added dynamic of Jin's mother, Jin Kazama, Kazuya's wife as well, who kind of will come on the scene, and how she affects that face-off between the two, father and son, this time is going to be something quite different than what we've seen before with Heihachi and Kazuya, right?
Oh.
Skipping ahead to the 1-minute mark, we see Jin Kazama again. She returns and promises to help Jin cleanse this world of its evil and corruption. We also see a bird land on her hand. Could you talk about what the bird symbolizes and the importance of Jin's return to the series after so much time away?
So
My question is she actually alive, or is she just dead? Like, we feel like she's been dead, but it never really confirmed that she's been dead.
To dive into the background of Jin Kazama a little bit, part of her character setting is that she's involved in wildlife conservation, and that's also kind of why she raised Jin in Yakushima, which has a lot of nature in that environment. So there is that regarding the bird, coming to her, but it's also more of a kind of Japanese or Asian concept that when you have these martial artists who've attained a lot of power, it's said that that kind of fighting spirit emanates from them, right? But on the other hand, someone who's equally a master can kind of feel that power, and it works in minus ways some ways. So it's said that people who've gone even further to the next level are able to kind of get rid of that fighting spirit, or not emanate it, so that their opponent can't feel it, right? So that is said that with a very skilled martial artist in the past, that animals would fly to them because they don't feel that fighting spirit, or that danger, I guess you could say, right? So it's a sign that not only is she in tune with nature, but that also she is such a skilled martial artist,
enlightenment, something like that, I would think.
Not emanate that fighting energy, right? So that's a background setting to it. But also, one important thing of Jun is that she's got this power to cleanse things, or kind of neutralize the devil gene, etc.
Really?
So how this plays, affects the outcome and what transpires between these.
She
two
for
fighters,
sure couldn't
right?
do that for
Is gonna be one
Kazuya, I
of the focal
guess.
points of the
Damn.
story, for people to look forward to.
And finally, at the end of the trailer, we see the chain and the 8 symbol again. We finally see Tekken 8's tagline, Fist Meets Fate. Can you talk about the symbolism behind the chain and the tagline, and how they relate to Tekken 8's story?
So the chains are really an important element, especially tied to Jin.
I was going to say Jin's way of breaking the devil gene.
In general, with the devil gene in their history. So it kind of symbolizes they have this particular destiny, or things that they're tied to, whether they like it or not in many instances. And the chains are kind of what binds them to that, and that's like a reflection of that. So that's a key element of the story that appears visually. But then also the Fist Meets Fate just symbolizes that although they have this destiny, and it seems like it's kind of decided and they have no choice in it at times, they use the power, which is symbolized by their fist, right, to try to
Rewrite their
veer
own fate.
away from their destiny, to try to change it per se, through their sheer power in their fists. So that's where the fist meets fate comes from.
All right, well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks once again to Harada-san and Michael Murray for joining us.
All right, well, that's all we got to say. But so far, it's not too much. I can't really say like, oh, this is gonna be different. So far, I haven't really had much to be like, oh, this changes my opinion or changes my mind on how I see things. I still got to see more about the heat system. Still kind of worried about that. I feel like it's just more giving the reward to the aggressive players is not giving enough for the defensive players. But I'm pretty sure they got something for that later on down the road. And I needed to get more gameplay because that gameplay trailer was nothing. But I need another trailer. Harada, take your time, man. I still got more videos to look up on, but if you guys are ready for more videos from me talking about like this, if you want more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. If you guys do enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new.